May 18th is National Redline Day. And for this year's build, I thought I'd restore this Lotus Turbine casting and at the same time do a tribute build to Graham Hill's Indy race car from 1968. Brian, over at the Diecast OutKast YouTube channel, created this annual celebration of National Redline Day, and on May 18th, 2020, he hosted the event, and I built the Jackrabbit Special. For 2021, the Three Blind Mice hosted the event. I was a member of the group at the time, and I did a twin mill restoration. And we continued to host the event on May 18th, 2022, and for that build, I did a whipped creamer. On May 18th, 2023, I did a Herfy's Volkswagen restoration. And this year, the Four Horsemen and the Diecast International Builders are hosting the event. And I truly appreciate that they're doing that. This is a really important build for me every year. And I always enjoy it. May 18th is a very special day to me. And so getting back to this build, I drilled this thing out. As you probably saw a little earlier, as I was talking about the other builds, the glass on this one is the weak point. The glass is not in good shape, and I wasn't able to get replacement glass for it. I tried Second Chance Redlines, it was out of stock, and I sent an email, and I still haven't heard back, so I don't know if it's ever going to be available. But that being said, I thought about alternatives. I thought about trying to vacuum form a piece of glass for that. That really wasn't practical for this particular shape. I thought about trying to cast something, and I'm lazy. And I didn't have a really good master to work from. So I thought, well, I'll just go with what I'm dealt here, try and polish it up, and maybe hopefully get a replacement glass somewhere down the road. I did use a pen vise to drill out these posts. Looks a lot shakier there than it did in person as I was doing it. But the 172 bits are really small. And, the posts are really small. So I needed to be careful with that. And that's the reason I did that. Here's a better look at the glass. And you can see the wear on the top edge. It's not good. But I thought, well, I'll take this foam back sandpaper, 3000 grit, sand it down to some extent, trying to get rid of it, then polish it with the flits. And it looks better. It's not perfect, but it looks a lot better. And I'm happy with the end result. However, if I do have the opportunity to get a replacement glass, I'll be all over that. I did hit it with gauzy that you see there, figuring that the thickness of the gauzy is only going to help this top edge of this thing. It's definitely not going to make it any worse. And, it did help. So as usual, I wick off the excess gauzy and then put it under the plastic cover just to make sure that no lint or dust or anything else fall on that poor little windshield that it has it rough enough as it is. Cleaned up the body. The nice thing is I'm not doing, like a metal cast paint job on this, pseudo Spectraflame type paint job. This is just going to be a solid color. It's not metallic at all or anything like that. So clean up the body, dip it in the IPA to prepare it for paint, cleaned it up good. And then I went with the Color Shot paints again. Used their white primer and then the red, the stiletto that you see there. And then once the decals are on, I hit it with the clear sealer. Paint worked out great. Here you see the decal set, and I am thrilled with this decal set. And I had to lay it out basically before I applied it, because I had to cut all the little pieces out. That's the way the set comes. I had to decide what I was going to put on this, because they also make decal sets for larger scale models. And so you get a lot of decals, some that are just ridiculously small. I also had to be careful to do the STP and the 70 on the back of the car right, because instinctively it seems like they should be different. It seems like that STP on the tail should go the other way, and it doesn't. I did this following pictures of the actual Graham Hill car, so I wanted to make sure I didn't screw it up, so I laid it out ahead of time. So there you see it after the decals run. I did, this thing needed new red lines. It didn't have any to start off with. Fortunately, the bearings were still in good shape, so it's just a matter of throwing new ones on there. I think these are from Bright Vision, if I recall correctly. And whenever you throw new red lines on a build, there's just something about it. It always looks so good. The fresh wheels look so good. And, it rolls, like it did when I was a kid. That's the way red lines rolled. So that's basically it. It really turned out to be a polished the glass. I did wash that interior piece as well before I clipped those together. The paint, I love the color shot paint. It's working out fantastically for this kind of thing. Did clean up the base a little bit off camera. Nothing spectacular, but cleaned up well. And I couldn't be happier with that decal set, because it's different. It's different than the original Hot Wheels decal set. This is a tribute build, like I said before, to Graham Hill's car. But that's the car that, this Hot Wheels was based upon, the Lotus Turbine that it's based upon. So I love throwing that decal set on there. And I hope you agree with me that this turns out looking pretty cool. And it's even more cool in person. As I'm recording this, I have it sitting on the bench next to me. And I was looking at it earlier and I thought, man, this thing looks sharp. And it rolls great. So there you see where this started. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Four Horsemen and the Diecast International Builders for hosting this event together this year. And hopefully this event keeps going for a number of years in the future. It's a wonderful thing to draw the community together, because for a lot of us, this is where it all started. Here's how this one turned out. The glass isn't perfect. It's the thing that my eye always gets drawn to first, unfortunately. There you see a picture of Graham Hill in the actual car. But I'm pretty darn happy with this Lotus Turbine. It's a very plain-looking casting as far as shape. But yet there are some features to it. Like, look at the flaring above the front axle. There's some subtle details to this that are just really cool. It's not just a wedge. So I hope you like this build as much as I do. And I can't wait to see everyone else and what they build celebrating National Redline Day. There's some glamour shots coming up. And I also would like to take a moment to wish my wife a happy anniversary, because that's the reason May 18th is also very special to me. And so everybody stay safe and healthy out there. Thank you for watching these videos. Be sure and check out all the other builds, and I'll catch you in the next one.